do is just type in this link.
Okay. And then just show it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's what?
KLLYA.
UTV6 FL LAW. That could be a line.
Oh, internet's not even working.
I think the L is taller.
The L solid? The capital one? The capital one?
Not sure.
Just a guess.
Do you know what the video's called?
Uh,
Actually, go ahead and click on that link.
how do I do it? Is it showing?
You'll have to.
Actually, I can.
Oh,
Can you all
let's-
see? Huh? Can you all see? Right?
So one of the topics that can appear a little bit intimidating at first is the topic of plant hormones. The most well-known plant hormone is probably auxins. A-U-X-I-N. So auxins are what cause plants to grow towards the light. It's a naturally occurring hormone that is present in the plant material, in the parts of the plant material that are closest to the light. And as the plant grows towards the light, the auxins in that part of the plant material start to get used up. So essentially, auxins are a growth regulator that allows plants to intelligently move towards the site of their power, light sources, which facilitate their metabolism, their photosynthesis. So how does that relate to the day-to-day cultivation of plants? For example, when we prune the top of a plant, when we top it or pinch it, we are removing what we call the apical meristem. And this is where the auxins are present in the highest concentrations. So by removing that, we allow the auxins to be distributed throughout the plant, which causes the multiplication of growing tops. And this can be very beneficial for establishing many tops on a plant, so we can have high flower production. Another aspect in which auxins affect our day-to-day gardening is when we're rooting. We use synthetic auxins, which are present in the majority of our rooting hormones, to stimulate root growth. Now, another popular hormone that gets used is called cytokinin, and generally found in some types of seaweed. Now, what cytokinin seaweeds are going to do is cause lateral growth. Cytokinin is responsible for bushiness of a plant. So, products like Ocean Magic, which contain high levels of cytokinin, can be utilized intelligently by the gardener during certain circumstances. For example, let's say we want to make a whole bunch of cuttings, and our mother plant doesn't have enough shoots. We could do a foliar application of a cytokinin seaweed, and shoots would come out everywhere. You'd have an abundance of plant material to select for cuttings. Now, a situation where we would not want to use a cytokinin product would be, for example, right before we move into the flowering process. If we were to spray a cytokinin product right before we move into flower, we would get so many shoots coming off of the plant material that we would have the biggest pruning job of our life. Otherwise, we would end up with a million little flowers, which is not what any of us are looking for. One of my maxims is don't grow little flowers. We are looking to direct our plant's energy to the biggest, most premium AAA flower sites. So we generally cut off small flowers. So we certainly would not want to allow the plant to produce excessive flower sites during the beginning of its flowering period. Another hormone that has been used historically is called gibberellic acid, sometimes referred to as GA. It has over 120 different forms that occur in nature. It is hard to say what forms exactly are in some of the products that we use, and it's not always listed on the label. But in general, gibberellic acid will stimulate very intense, powerful vegetative growth. It can be responsible for stem elongation, fruit and flower production, has been used historically to increase flower production. It is known that gibberellic acid is permissible in food products in parts per billion. As to how much is actually permissible in other medicinal plant materials has not been established, and we don't always know exactly what levels are present in the products that we use containing gibberellic acid. Another hormone that you might occasionally potentially come in contact with that could affect you would be ethylene gas. Now, this is nature's death hormone. It's a ripening hormone. So a scenario where this could affect you, for example, let's say you had a bedroom that started to go into flower and you didn't know why, and it had an intake and exhaust, and you're looking around and you find that there's an apple tree in your yard that dropped all the apples on the ground and you didn't pick any of them up. All of that rotting fruit would create ethylene gas, which could be brought in your intake and actually could force your veg plants to move into the flowering process. So if you happen to have a vegetative garden that keeps going into flower and you're not sure why, you could scour your property, look for any potential sources of ethylene gas in the form of rotting fruit. So there's a brief explanation of plant hormones. There are definitely other plant hormones that exist, but those are the most commonly used.
Alright. Wasn't that interesting? Let's see, where can I turn this off? Because it might go. No, perfect. So now, just a simple review. Auxin, who can tell me what auxin does? It's right up there.
It keeps the stem from resistant.
More perfect, okay. Cytokinins. Cytokinins, can anyone tell me? Rebecca?
Stimulates cell division.
Yes. Perfect. Gibberellins. When we talked about this, it's a little bit of growth, just like auxin.
Gross.
Yes. It grows stems and it grows
laterally.
sepals, yes. It's for the bushiness of plants. Okay, ethylene. Okay, what is it?
Ripens fruits and stuff.
Perfect, yes. For any of you who like chemistry, we have the structures. And abscisic acid.
What makes plants dormant?
Yes, storage, yes. That's what makes the plant just go into sort of a hibernation mode for any stress factor. Okay. Again, let's just review the five hormones here. Auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, and abscisic acid, and ethylene. And here we have just some vocabulary that I will want you guys to know for the test, the quiz. But for now, just please keep in mind the hormones and their effects on plants. So we have apical dominance, that's the main shoot of a plant, just staying as the dominant one, the one that grows the tallest. Phototropism, the movement towards light. Gravitropism, moving towards gravity, so like down in the roots. Hydrotropism, anybody want to take a guess at that one? Yes, you got it. Apical meristem. The apical meristem is what we call it's the stem, the tallest stem itself. Like apical dominance is just the concept of the tallest one, the apical meristem, staying as the apical meristem. Senescence, Kelsey?
Is that the one that makes it age?
Yes. Just think of a senior citizen, senescence. Abscission. Does anybody remember what abscission refers to? No? Alright, well abscission is the separation of a part of a plant from the plant. So just an abscission of leaves or fruits that's just the part of the plant moving away from the plant, just falling off or any other. Stomata, I didn't get to go over actually. So the stomatas are like the part under any leaf of the plant that is actually responsible for respiration. That's where the plant releases water in the mornings. And actually, kind of a fun fact, have you seen people who smoke and like, they make a little hole in their throats? That's called a stomata, actually. I don't know why that's fun. But dormancy. Dormancy is relating to just a state of inactivity, just no actions, no activity in there. And that's what goes on with the seeds whenever abscisic acid is put into play. Seeds go into dormancy, and so do other parts of the plant. And well, I hope you learned something today. And please keep in mind these five. This vocabulary map for now. All right. Thank you.
Good job. So, what are some things you thought went well, and then some things in which you think you can improve on?
Well, I think I really pushed the points here, just these 5 points, what they do it, review it once or twice again. Hope this stays every time, or at least until we leave. I think I could have done better on the timing. I went really, really fast. Like I practiced it around 3 times, and it did not go this fast. And definitely maybe some more visuals, but again, I can't stop cooking. I can't. There's no way. I think my intro was okay. I want to do something different, you know? Like with the whole teenagers thing. I do like My Chemical Romance, so I'm not judging anyone.
Alright, any comments?
I think all the whiteboard are clean. I did like the intro because it had me like very, it could have gone a lot of ways there, and then it turned into plant hormones that I didn't know anything about, so I didn't understand.
Oh, thank you. You want to say something?
Good.
Any other comments?
I liked your, like the chart you brought up for the review, so that way, like, if you were like a visual person, you'd be able to actually see, like, this is what the hormone looks like, as like a chemical structure.
Also, like when you would bring up the moon hormone, you would like have a picture of like how the hormone is in like an animal, and then we could refer it back to a plant, so it kind of helps get a bigger picture.
Yeah, I was actually thinking like, not everyone gets excited over plant hormones, so I'm trying to relate it to something else.
Rebecca, you can go ahead and start getting ready. Or Morgan, sorry. Morgan,
I was
Rebecca
like-
already went. Yeah. Just for sake of time, so we don't run out of time, it's already 1:23. And Vicente, a couple things that I thought that you did well. So you were doing lab 3, which was lecture and questioning. And so I thought you did pretty good with that. Maybe incorporate a little bit more questioning within your lectures. Like I think you would, but then the question that you would do would be like very, very simple. So then you could ask more like in-depth questioning within a lecture. So for example, like I really like the concept with the banana, and it gives off ethylene and then it causes ripening. So then you could say, okay, so pretend I have a banana here and then a bag. But what if I put the banana in a bag and then close the bag up? What would happen to that banana?
Okay, so more
Okay, so-
situation.
Yeah, so like different, just like more like in-depth questioning instead of just like, have you heard of this, yes or no? Because I think some of your questioning was good, but it was like really short answer questioning. Where if you have more of an open conversation, I think that'll lead to a little bit more student engagement kind of back and forth.
Okay.
But overall, I think you did really good. I thought your PowerPoint was well done. The video was okay. I don't know why the sound's working today, because it wasn't working in the past, so you kind of left out with the sound,
Yeah, I was hoping.
which was nice. Yeah, I think that's about it. Maybe, again, a little bit more interaction with the kind of the summary, the review. So I know he's trying to call on people. I don't know if we're getting tired here or what, but yeah.
Well, that's the cookies.
Yeah, right.
Not knowledgeable on the subject whatsoever.
Sugar
Kind of.
crack.
Yeah, it was like trying to learn a new subject for me was what it was, and no previous knowledge.
Oh, okay. And I tried to link it to like the
I mean,
previous one.
You reviewed it multiple times, which helped, but.
And I like how you just had that, because that was your objective was, all right, the 5 plant hormones. Students will know the 5 plant hormones, and that's it. So that's a good objective for, 30-minute class period.
How was my timing?
You were fine, you were like 25 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah. One thing that you could have done too at the end for the summary, or had some sort of assessment on if you meet your objective. So you might have not met the objective. I don't know, Kelsey, do you remember the 5 plant hormones right now?
Auxin, gibberellin, ethylene, acetylsalicylic acid, and cytokinin.
Yeah, so
I like the
So Morgan knows the 5, someone else might not. So maybe it's just like a little sheet or something that's a matching, draw a line, and then you click that at the end, just to see if students walked away knowing those 5 and if your objective was met.
okay. Cool, thank you.
Can you all read like that size?
Yes.
Actually, go over, you have that last cookie.
What?
Anybody else want it? Is it bit?
No, I remember.
I'll take it.
I had the left side apparently, not both.
And we're just to kind of keep an eye on time, so it's 1:26. So like the class period is at 1:40.
I thought it
So
was
but
1:40. Okay.
I think it's at 1:40. I'll check. But if we go maybe like 5 minutes in over, I'll probably just cut you off and just keep in mind that's
Okay.
not your fault. You
Okay.
can just say, okay, this is what I plan on doing for this summary.
Okay.
And we'll just stop there. Okay, just kind of tell us what class.
I have a PowerPoint.
I'm sorry, it's mine, being still on.
You're good. Can I exit out of it?
Yeah, please.
Maybe
My PowerPoint was here and now it's gone. I had it pulled up. Wonder if it'll open recently. I guess we're just gonna go without the PowerPoint because it's gonna take time to pull up. Okay, can I just turn this off? How do I, it's like this?
I mean, if you had your PowerPoint pulled up, you can go ahead and pull it up. Like,
No,
I don't want that
it's-
to affect your
it's-
lesson.
Gone, like, that,
Oh, I might have closed your PowerPoint presentation.
I mean, is it on an email or?
yeah, no, but like, I can't get the computer to work, hold on. Sorry,
I'm sorry about that.
no, you're good. Sorry, I'm taking forever. That's on the computer screen, I don't know what that is.
Your
I don't know, like this computer screen. Okay. Whatever, yeah, but that works, that'll be fine. This is Animal Science and Services 2, so this is like 10th grade. And we are on handling and husbandry, and we're going more in depth with husbandry with EPDs.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, class. If you guys could get out your mind movers and answer this question, you have 3 minutes. Whenever you're done, just put your pencil down so I know you're done, if we can go faster. Okay. So, can anyone tell me how you find differences in offspring before they are born?
Virtually different?
Not as much. Rebecca?
EPDs, take everything from the parents and then kind of get a guess of what the baby's gonna be like.
Okay, EPDs, what does that even mean?
Expected progeny differences.
What is an EPD? You said expected progeny differences? Okay, what is like, can you explain that further? Like, what do you mean by that?
It's really take all the information that you give them, so everything from milk production to birth weight to weaning weight to yearling weight. And so if you have a baby and it's like a first time mom and dad, then they'll take their information and kind of put it together. But
Okay.
once they've had more than one offspring, it gets a lot more accurate.
Okay. As a quick little introduction to it, I want you guys to read this scenario and place this class accordingly, like how you think it should be. And then we're gonna talk about it after you guys have placed it. And just write down a placing for this class and we'll talk about it. If you have questions or don't know, it's okay. We're gonna discuss it after, so just write what you think down and we're gonna discuss what everything on this paper means and how to break it down. Okay, is everybody finished? Okay. So, Kelsey, how'd you place the class?
4, 2, 1, 3.
Do you know, do you like any reasoning why, like, just, no?
No, but it's not.
Okay. What are the questions you have on that sheet? Like, why was this hard to do?
I'm not particularly knowledgeable about the acronym stand for.
Okay. What do the acronyms stand for? So it makes it really hard to read something where you have, it's all in English though, right? It's just really hard to read it when you don't know what it's talking about. All right. Can someone read me the first EPD off the paper?
ID 1, or like the whole line, or just
Like what is BW, like BW? Okay.
birth weight for it?
Okay. So birth weight. Does anyone know if we want that number low or high for it to be considered a good number for that animal? We want that number low. Okay. Okay. What's the next acronym?
WW.
WW. Does anyone have any idea, or Rebecca, don't answer. Does anyone else have any idea what it could be?
Anyway,
Meaning,
this is really harsh. This
do we want that number low or high?
High.
High. Why do we want birth weight low but weaning weight high?
high gain. Yeah, everything.
High gain, that means mom's doing her job and taking care of her babies, but why would we want birth weight low?
So the mom could have it easier.
Okay, yeah. It's calving ease because dystocia is what you call when someone has trouble giving birth. And so if the birth weight's really low, that means we're less prone to dystocia problems, which we're going to look at that more in heifers and mature cows. But it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
What's the next acronym?
But like, I'm trying to get
Why?
an expensive grade, you know.
YW. Okay, we don't know what YW stands for.
Hey, answer the question, it's all yours.
Yearling weight. Okay. What do we want that number, low or high? Kelsey.
High.
High. And again, why do we care that this number's high?
Yeah, I thought these two, this morning at like some random store because the candy fell
Means
off.
they gain weight, so they're healthy cows.
They're gaining weight, they're feed efficient.
Alright, so I got my, participation.
All that kind of stuff. What's the next one?
Milk.
Milk. Okay. Why is milk important? Anybody else? Vicente? Production purposes, exactly, because milk is kind of the same thing, milk. Production, it's we're looking at that number. We want it to be relatively around the breed average, nothing super crazy unless the scenario says like, oh, we have all the feed in the world. Because if she's producing enough milk around breed average, then she's doing her job. We're giving her feed, she's producing feed for our babies, and that's her job in the production cycle, so good job. So we want that one to be around breed average, which is on your paper. What's the next one? Is that all of them? Okay. So when we look at the paragraph above this, it's what we call a scenario. So can anyone tell me what they think is important from this scenario? Like when you were reading it, what jumped out to you?
Consider replacement.
Okay, replacement heifers.
The heifer is not cows, so you wanna really watch the birth weight.
Okay, good. So, big star next to birth weight when we're reading this scenario. Anything else jump out at you? Maybe location, or what they're gonna use these animals for?
Maintaining flushing ability.
Maintaining flushing ability, that's good. That's gonna come back to milk, actually, because when they say maintain flushing ability, they mean that they're not gonna, lose weight to the point where they're not gonna be able to rebreed. They're still gonna be functional, maintain their body weight, which means they cannot be producing double the amount of the breed average, because then we're putting in too much feed for them to be efficient.
Yeah, so that entire line. Cutting edge genetics while still maintaining flushing ability, moderation of frame, and skeletal correctness.
Those are all major important things from there, right? So the next slide is
And then it says feed resources in labor are moderate.
our moderate, which means they can throw feed, but they're, again, that's just mainly talking about this milk EPD when they're talking about that. That they don't have all the feed in the world to give this cow for her to produce that much milk. So they want her to be right around breed average, maybe a little bit above, nothing too crazy. Okay, how would we use this information in a commercial setting?
You can look at the cows when picking bulls, see what their ATDs are, and if there's something that the cow's lacking, then you get a bull that's better in that area, and, if you're doing a good.
Okay, anybody else? Have any idea why we might use this? No?
Okay, problem.
Yeah, we're just trying to make sure we're, like she said, we're fitting the right bull to the right cow, and we can do that by looking at data. Okay, and why is this information important to producers? Again, if we need a cow, and we're breeding heifers, and we're like, all right, this bull looks really great, we really like him, I think he's gonna put some great genetics into this herd, but his birth weight's insanely high, and we're breeding all the first-time heifers. That's gonna be a bit of a problem. Can anyone else think of another example as to why this could be useful?
Also, like, depends when you're selling calves and what for. So if you're selling like weaning calves and, you're worried a lot more about weaning weight than if you're selling yearling calves, so you keep them for yourself.
Okay. So, okay. You are going to have, we're going to go over a few more EPDs first, just like the acronyms and what they mean. So, one of them we have is REA. Does anyone know what that means? Take a guess if we're talking about beef cattle.
Is it ribeye?
Ribeye area. So why is this number important? Expensive cut of meat. Sorry, I'm like looking at time. Okay, how about, what do you think when we think of something like this? Anyone have any guess what this means?
Intramuscular flow.
Good job, how'd you know that?
I've done. And
that's important in what aspect? Like, there's there's fat in the muscle, awesome. Why does that matter? Why do we care?
For meat production. And, so like, you want, it kind of what you're looking for in a cow. So how much muscle, if, show cows, you might want more than breeding cows.
Why for a producer would intramuscular fat matter if he's marketing all these calves?
You get more money for your cow
If what happens?
if they have higher levels of fat.
Okay, so so if they grade, like quality grade? Okay, and quality grade just means that they're gonna meet like prime, choice, select, standard, like all of those different things. And he's gonna make more money per pound if he can produce like prime versus select. So that's why this is important to him. Okay, and this is kind of an odd one that I'm gonna throw in there, because it's actually really important to producers. And you'll see it written like this, or like this. And it's scrotal or SC. Can you tell me why scrotal circumference would matter to anyone?
Breeding?
For breeding, there's a really specific reason why we care about that. So,
Is that like another good job? What's that? I don't know. Seen it?
yes and no. We've actually linked the a larger scrotal circumference to daughters coming into heat faster. So she's gonna mature faster. And why would a bull who can produce daughters who can start calving, who can start estrus at 1.5 years versus 2, why would that matter? It's just 6 months. Sensei?
Well, that's 6 months you gotta feed them.
Okay, 6 months you gotta feed her, you have to pay for it, and she's not putting anything back in your herd, okay?
It's all in production, the most, as fast as you can, as long as you can, to make babies.
Okay. Because let's just say you breed to this one bull, we want this number high, this number high, this number high. If we're breeding to a bull who has a larger scrotal circumference, which means he should be able to produce daughters who come into estrus faster, and let's say he has 100, and we're breeding them for 10 years, we can get maybe one more calf per heifer in her entire life, which can add up to a lot of money if we have a really large commercial herd. Make sense? Okay. So, you guys are gonna do a quick little quiz. Do you have any other questions about how to read scenarios or any of this data? No?
Yeah, I think what we'll do, since we're 5 minutes into the passing period, I think we'll kind of just stop there and then kind of tell us maybe what you would do after students finish the quiz. How long would it take to do the quiz?
5 minutes. I had a lot more of an in-depth lesson planned. Where we were gonna talk about it more, and instead of me going over these, we were gonna list acronyms, and it was gonna be kind of a scavenger hunt in textbooks to find what it meant and why it's important, but we didn't really have time to do scavenger hunts. So
So you were gonna do that instead of what you did there?
instead of doing this, where I'm just writing everything and kind of dominating it, they were gonna have to go find it and then report back to me what they found. And why, when they read it, why it was important, and then we would come back as a class and kind of do this again as a review. And then we'd go over scenarios and how to read them, and then they would take a quiz. While also, so I knew Austin and Andrew were supposed to be here, and they're like swine people, and I was gonna go over some swiney things too, but they weren't here.
Okay.
One person.
Oh, sorry.
And then how about like a review? What would you have done for a review?
My review was gonna be, an exit ticket where they had to choose an acronym and then briefly describe it. And then their quiz was gonna be like a little summative grade.
So maybe just from what you presented, something you liked and then something that you could improve upon.
I wasn't really a huge fan of this, to be honest. I was just kind of, but I could have, I don't know, I liked that there was some discussion, I guess. I thought I gave a lot of questions and opportunities for them to answer questions. I would change, I definitely wouldn't have had my PowerPoint pulled up when my original, like, question was up there, because
I
it
think
kind
that,
of,
yeah, that's my fault.
it's okay. It was technical problems, which I
Any really quick comments for Morgan?
I thought the explanations were really good, very knowledgeable, and really well.
I think it all went really good. The activity was good, and the PowerPoint was as much information, and I like how you gave and wrote on the board, and not only said what they mean, but whether you want it or not.
I enjoyed all providing information, and I was very pleased. Easy to Google that.
So,
I like the way you presented your information. The only thing, I was wanting you to go back to the original thing that we did and have us replace them, and then you tell us the answers. I don't know if you were ever gonna do that in your lesson or not.
Yeah, it was gonna be way more in depth than what it was. It was kind of like a skim over what it was gonna be.
And I think you presented like what we needed in the time, how much time we had.
yeah, and I thought, so you know, a lot of times when we teach